For literally thousands of years, one of history's greatest secrets has been deliberately hidden from all of humanity. We're talking about the final resting place of a mighty prophet, a secret so important it's been protected by God himself.
So that leads to the big question, right? Why? Why in the grave of Prophet Moses, or Moses as you might know him, the man who spoke directly to God? Why is it a complete mystery? Well, the answer is way more incredible than you can probably imagine.
You see, this isn't just some dusty old historical puzzle. No, this goes right to the heart of faith. It's a divine strategy to block a plan that Satan has been trying to pull off since the beginning of time. He is desperate for this grave to be found, and we're about to find out exactly why.
The mystery here is just profound. You have one of the most revered prophets in all of history, a man whose life story is known to billions, and yet his grave, it's a total enigma. I mean, just think about it for a second. Countless empires have risen and fallen. Archaeologists and historians have mapped pretty much every square inch of that part of the world. But the location of Musa's grave? It's still a divinely guarded secret. This wasn't some accident. It was a deliberate, calculated act of divine wisdom. So to really get the why behind this secret, we first have to understand the main conflict here. We have to understand Satan's dangerous plan. A plan that involves the biggest trap he's ever set for humanity. And that trap is called shirk. In Islam, this is the big one. It's the one sin that's unforgivable if you don't repent from it. And what is it exactly? It's associating partners with God. You know, treating created things as if they are the creator, and directing your worship to anything other than the one true God. You can think of this whole spiritual battle as a tug-of-war between two opposing ideas. On one side, you've got Tawheed, that's pure, simple monotheism. On the other side, you've got Shirk, which often looks like idolatry or even the worship of graves. And Satan's whole strategy is to just blur the line between them. See, he's clever. He knows telling people to just deny God often doesn't work, so he uses a much more subtle approach. He takes our genuine love and respect for righteous people, and he slowly, carefully twists it into worship of their graves, their relics. He knew that if the grave of a prophet as beloved as Musa was known, it would become the ultimate center for this kind of idol worship. Now, the story of why his grave was hidden actually starts with Prophet Musa's final moments on earth, and his passing was anything but quiet. It was a powerful, dramatic encounter that tells you everything you need to know about his character and his relationship with God. So according to authentic narrations, the angel of death came to Musa, but in the form of a man. Musa didn't recognize him and thought he was an intruder there to take his life. So Musa, who was a man of great strength and honor, defended himself and hit him with a powerful slap.
The angel returned to God who healed him and then sent him back with this absolutely incredible offer. He told Musa, place your hand on the back of a bull, and for every single hair that's under your hand, you'll be granted 1 more year of life. We're talking about thousands upon thousands of years here.
But Musa, he had no real attachment to this world, so he asked a single profound question. His focus wasn't on getting more time, but on what the final destination was. He asked, "My Lord, after all that time, then what happens?" The angel's reply was simple, it was powerful, and it was inevitable. Then, death. It didn't matter how long the extension was. The final outcome is the same for every single soul.
And right there, with that question, Musa proved his first reaction wasn't fear. It was just self-defense against an unknown threat. The second he understood that death was the inevitable end, he eagerly said, well, if the end is death, then why not now? He was ready. He was anxious to meet his Lord. But before he passed, Musa made one final, very emotional request, and it's in the answer to this prayer that we find the only clue ever given about where his grave is, a clue that has to do with a simple red sand dune.
He prayed, "O Allah, bring me near to the Holy Land, just by a distance of a stone's throw." See, he knew he was forbidden from actually entering it because of his people's disobedience, but his love for that blessed land was so deep that he just wanted to be buried near its border.
So then, years later, Prophet Muhammad gave us the one and only description of its location. He said that if he were there, he could point it out. A grave located beneath a Kathib Ahmar, which just means a red sand dune. A simple, unremarkable red dune right by the side of a road. It's a description that's so specific, yet at the same time, perfectly untraceable.
And this all connects to a really important event.
During his miraculous night journey, the Mirage, Prophet Muhammad actually confirmed this. He passed by the Red Dune and saw Musa standing in prayer inside his grave. This is huge because it confirms that the grave is real, but it also confirms that the prophets are alive in the barzakh, that in-between state after death, still engaged in worship.
Okay, so now let's put all these pieces together. You have Satan's plan, Musa's final moments, and this clue about a red dune. When you connect the dots, they reveal the ultimate secret to protecting monotheism.
So let's just break down the divine logic here. First, Musa's people had already shown they were weak when it came to idolatry. I mean, remember the golden calf. He was gone for just 40 days. Second, a known grave of a prophet this important would have 100% become a shrine. Third, over time, people's worship would have shifted away from God and onto the grave itself. So hiding the grave was an incredible act of mercy. It protected Musa's legacy and the faith of countless generations.
The ultimate wisdom here is just beautiful. Allah honored Prophet Musa in the most perfect way. This was the man who dedicated his entire life to fighting idolatry, to establishing the worship of the one God. There was no way his own grave could become the very thing he fought against. His hidden grave is the final victory of his message.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, this story teaches us that true love for the prophets isn't about building monuments over their graves. It's about actually living by what they taught. It reinforces that our faith is based on believing in the unseen, that Allah's wisdom is perfect, and that the greatest honor you can get isn't a magnificent tomb, but leaving behind a legacy of pure monotheism.
And that leaves us with one final, very important question. If we're not supposed to be searching for the physical location of his grave, then what are we meant to be looking for?
The answer is the ultimate lesson of this whole divine secret. We're not meant to seek the dust of his grave. We are meant to seek the unshakable strength of his faith. That is his true eternal legacy.